Saturday afternoon on SABC 1. You know what that means. It's time for GameON, brought to you by Hollywoodbets. Hello, Mzansi. I am Caesar Mapena. Time to, preview some of the best leagues in the world, of course, here in South Africa, as well as out in England. Joined by Shane McGregor. Shane, funny start to the season every season. August, we get things started. September, the international break. Your thoughts on this international break, and does it disrupt the start of the season?
Most definitely. It comes at the wrong time, you know. You've only started, the Betway hasn't even started yet, you know. But the English Premier League, the rest of the leagues just start and then you have a break, you know. So silly. I mean, they should start it before the league starts, get it out the way, and then just go on. But anyway, you know, managers complain.
Kevin Hunter remembers in years gone by.
He complains when he plays, he complains when he doesn't play. So Gavin's Gavin. But I'm talking the English guys. You know, it's very difficult for them because you come in and then you got to have a break again. And the big worry is injuries.
Yeah. Now, let's say Liverpool. You surprise everybody. You start off and you hit the ground running. 100% record going into the national break. You get worried as a coach.
You always get worried. No, you always get worried because you don't know how the players are going to come back. Some of these players have travelled to everywhere in Europe, South America. So now you're coming back. How tired are the players? Have they recovered in time? Are the injuries? Luckily for Liverpool, there hasn't been any injuries. McAllister picked up a bit of an injury, but he was fit to play the next game. So that's fine. But not like Man City. Akazat, he injured himself in the game. He came off. You got a couple of others, you know, Arsenal, big one. Odegaard is out, captain. That's huge for them because he is one of their best players. So, you know, the guys look at it and say, is it worth it? And also the travel time, short period of time to train, to get ready for the game on the weekend, it's difficult.
And when you look at sides like Manchester United, who haven't quite had the start of the season they were hoping for, Everton as well, horrific start of the season. Does this work in their favour? This international break, or the fact that players are away, it still doesn't work in their favour and that they're not working as a group together?
No, I think it would work in their favour because it gives them a chance to reset. And that's the big thing here for both teams. They need to reset. They need to get their house in order and try and get going. You know, Man United are better than what they are. You never believe me saying that. They are better than what they are. I'm not too sure if it's the manager that's not getting the best out of his players. There seems to be a lot of conflict between the players and the manager, which is a bit of a problem. But, you know, I think they are better than what they are showing at the moment, and only time will tell.
So let's talk about the fixtures that will be coming up, and start off with a game that just started off half an hour or so ago. Southampton at home to Manchester United. Now, for Southampton and sides of that nature that are new in the league, do you think they go into a game against United thinking, hey, here's a chance to get a confidence booster here?
They will. They'll look at this game and say, well, we'll be playing them at the right time because you don't want to be playing them later on when they found their rhythm. So they'll be going, oh, this could be a one for us. Man United are going to be trying to prove a point. It's a difficult game to call on this one. For me, Man United should be too good, but we don't know if they're going to have recovered in time. So the draw Man United might be the way to go in that one.
What have you made of the signings after Manchester United? I mean, they don't have the marquee signings of your Arsenals or your Manchester Cities these days. But still, the new boys, what do you make of them?
Well, they've signed one or two decent players. The problem is because they're not getting the marquee signings, because they're not playing in Europe. So that's a big thing, you know. You know, players want to play in Europe. They want to play in the best competition in the world. So it's a difficult one. But they have made a couple of good signings, and going forward, I'm sure they will with more.
Later on this afternoon, your favourite side in the whole world, Liverpool, at home to Nottingham Forest. Do you see the 100% record continuing?
I see it, because if you look at the history against Forest, they've been far too good. So for me, if the guys are listening on there and with a Hollywoodbets show, they'll take the professional double, Liverpool, Man City and Aston Villa. You'll get 2-1. Yeah. Have a good bet.
Now, you said Aston Villa. Aston Villa playing Everton, by the way. Spoke about Everton and their struggles this season. They're just continuing from where they left off at the end of last season. In my opinion, Everton is just struggling. Villa?
Too good for them. Simple as that. They're going to be too good. You see, with Everton, they couldn't bring players because of the whole issue, you know, with spending the money in that. So they haven't been able to do that. Aston Villa, we know, brought in players. They're looking good again. Victory for them.
Manchester City at home to Brentford. Now, at some point you start to get the feeling if Manchester City lose, it's City to lose rather than for Brentford to beat them. Are we at that point in life now where it's up to Pep and these boys as to how well they perform or don't perform?
Yeah, you know, Brentford are one of those teams that can cause an upset. But I just like the way Man City have been going. You know, yeah, they got Aka out injured, but they got other guys to come in and fill in for him. I can't see anything but a Man City victory.
Here's my issue. Since the season started, you haven't called one upset as yet. How come?
Because there hasn't been room for upsets. That's the thing, you know. You look at it and you say, where can you have upset?
Yeah. Every week I'm waiting for you to give me an upset.
Look, Arsenal this weekend, they come up against Spurs. It's a derby. Now, you're saying, can you call an upset there?
Possibly.
Spurs at home. Especially without their talisman. So that makes it hard. For me, I think the draw's written all over that. Is it an upset? No, it's not. You know, Arsenal are playing away from home. They're playing in a derby game. Is it upset? No. We'll wait. There will be upsets going along the way, but not just yet.
I have to talk about Arsenal, and you mentioned Odegaard at the start of the show and how he's missing from the international break. Had a debate with a friend who doesn't see the quality in Odegaard that maybe some of us see. I'd like to get your expert opinion on Odegaard and how important he is to Arsenal and how you rate him amongst the best stars in England.
No, he's very influential in that team. I mean, he's their playmaker. He does everything for them. He binds the back to the forwards. He does everything for them. You know, he also gets through work. He tackles. He wins tackles. Creates the opportunities for them. No, he's vital to them, and it's going to be a big loss. 3 weeks out, it's a big loss. But they have bought wisely, and they bought players in, so it could be interesting. That I still say, you know, I think Arsenal will get the job done, but don't be surprised if it's a draw.
Tell you what, they've got depth out of Arsenal, and it'll be interesting to see how they do push forward without Odegaard, of course. And, well, no upsets as yet, according to Shane McGregor in the Premiership out in England this weekend. So we'll catch up with them next week and see if maybe there is one or two upsets. On the other side of this, we've got Jace Kosana as we talk all things local in the beautifully South African game.
Check these guys. Let's show them how it's done. I see it. Let's have a your feet like this.
Let's see how you play.
Your feet like this.
Welcome back as we keep things rolling along here on GameON, joined now by the legendary Legs of Thunder, Jerry Skosana. Jerana, it's been a long wait to start the PSL season. Finally, getting underway here, some games to look forward to. Are you excited? And how do you feel with the start of September rather than the August League?
Well, yeah, you know, we've been talking Alamatima Utrega cool, especially number 1, number 2, number 3 from last season, which is Sundowns, Pirates, Stellenbosch. But now, yeah, obviously today is the big day. Everybody will endanger ukubona ukuthi i-team elandelwa kakhulu la eMzansi iyokwenza njani, because siyawazi ama upsets and disappointments enzekele last season. So yeah, I think later on today Marumo Gallants versus Kaizer Chiefs, plus yobona khona kahle ukuthi Chiefs iphethe.
Pressure. We have to talk about the Chiefs squad. I'm a player wabo. Sakubula pre-season, but now the team Tanzania. There was pressure. Even though it was pre-season, you could tell there was pressure, especially with the reaction after the loss. Is there pressure going into this first game?
Well, angeke kusho phela wona Sizwe, because for mina ngithatha like sonke lesikhathi njengoba bengadlala, I think they were preparing. The coach was trying ukuthi enza ama combination wakhe, choose quality players, because for me Chiefs is just a brand new Chiefs because of the players that they've roped in. So let's see later on today who are the standout players, but of course we cannot just judge them today. We need to make sure what going forward, how strong are they, so that we can start talking about them.
For a good start to the season, good start to the season as the Chiefs, from a Chiefs point of view, is Madumo Gallants the right side to play? I mean, there's other sides that could put fear in you, but is Madumo Gallants saying, yeah, okay, yeah, sure.
Kodwa cabanga Sizwe mfethu ukuthi hey kuzoba nenkinga. If Chiefs can draw or lose to Marumo Gallants, it's gonna be chaos. Chiefs camp, especially the supporters, because they're expecting a lot of things. They're playing also a team that is just bought the swallow status, roping in players. You know, they are also struggling, according to me, because we haven't had anything ngabo kakhulu. Only Chiefs, mawuya ku social media, yes, as you ukuthi ama-players athize ayekhona. So for me, it's the game today ezodetermine ukuthi Chiefs imephi kahle kahle ngoba everybody ubheka ukuthi Chiefs win namhlanje.
I have to ask you quickly, a lot of expectations last season, and I think they didn't meet those expectations. Cape Town City, they put a bit of a statement, even though Balu's the Pirates, put a bit of a statement with their performance in the MTN8.
Yeah, if uzobuka Cape Town City's performance against Pirates, I mean, for me, they were magnificent, honestly. Yes, they might have bowed out of the MTN8, but against the Royal AM, who doesn't have the opportunity or chance of roping in new players because of the ban, I can say Cape Town City will win this one against the Royal AM.
Richards Bay, they survived the playoffs end of last season, and most of every playoff, there's not enough time to prepare for the next season in pre-season. But then it's Galaxy with a great pre-season, man.
Yeah, I think it's going to be something different for Richards Bay, because if you look at last season, most of their players had to go that saved them from relegation in the playoffs. And also the coach, Ebegelapa Vilagazi, had to leave the club. Yes, they've got a new sponsor to inject money in. But for me, with the new coach coming, you know, Brendan Truter was with them before, and now he's coming back. Let's see how is it going to change maybe the fortunes of the Richards Bay.
Now, we spoke about Chiefs and the pressure. But the big question here, is my mobile community the most under pressure coach in the PSL so far this season?
Yeah, injured.
But then in Super Sport, Pedro.
That's what I'm saying.
Big gamers.
Big statement to make in Aye. Because for me, I still don't know who's the head coach, who's the assistant coach, only the director that is there, you know. But, you know, things that are happening at Sundowns. For me, now we can look at the technical team, but players themselves, there is something that they want to say, but it's only showing inside the field. If we look at the incident of 3 captains, 2 being replaced, the 3rd one coming in, the armband being picked up from the grass.
No Sundowns player scored this season.
You know,
no Sundowns player scored this season, by the way. In 3 games. It's pressure.
Pressure, man.
Yeah. I say this because it's a home game. It's in Pretoria in front of your home supporters. And, you know, in the past, when Sundowns supporters weren't happy, they let you know. So...
West, because they're playing a team that normally fit them with quality players. And obviously, if SuperSport get the edge over them, supporters ayolo. Kuzoba nenkinga. Let's see ukuthi le derby ihamba njani on Tuesday, and hopefully good football. I'm not saying anyone can win, but yeah, good football.
Is the most fun place to visit this season so far in the PSL, the Orlando Stadium? Pirates is playing Chippa United. It should be a good game, but is that the most fun place to visit so far this season?
Yeah. As a legend as well. Yeah, if I don't have a ticket, I'll be on the queue to buy one to go and watch Pirates with Minzela. Really, I mean, on a serious note, they're playing good football.
And the fans are responding.
Let's take the example of what is happening with our Bafana. Remember the last time we were talking about Bafana being dominated by Mamelodi Sundowns. Look at what happened in the AFCON, Ivory Coast. I mean, Sundowns were like a dominant a team. Bafana. But now, let's look at the past 2 games where Bafana were playing Uganda, Talent, Mbata, the equalizer, Talent Mbata,
the winner in Sudan, well,
but also the young Mufukeng, my number 10 jersey at Orlando Pirates. I'm not having a fight, you know, Tito from Tembisa, but the young boy. The young boy. Yeah.
There's Tembisa and Tembisa violence. We Tembisa, which just Tembisa, but yeah, Pirates have given us exciting times, and of course the fans have played their part, not only when Pirates are playing, but the national team as well. Thank you very much to Jeris Kosana. On the other side of this, we have a very, very special interview for you. Hello, Mzansi. Welcome back to Game On. Now, we promised you a very special interview in the last segment of the show, and I'll give you a clue. He's the only South African to have won a UEFA Champions League trophy. Still, Bafana Bafana's top goal scorer. Benny's in the 18 area. Yes, of course, we've got South African football royalty in Benny McCarthy. Benny, thank you so much for taking the time to join us. Firstly, for many of the youngsters, they'll know you as Benny playing overseas, but can you take us back to the beginning in how your career started out in Cape Town?
Hey, Sizwe, thanks for having me again today, my man.
Sure.
Really good speaking to you. No, like I said, my journey started like every other kid in South Africa, playing on the streets, playing at school, playing in the grassroots football, and I think that's basically just where the love for football came. And in my case, football was a way of life to keep me off the streets from joining the gangs, because when you're from the Cape Flats, that's the easiest route to go into, so football kept me on the straight and narrow, and then my talents just developed, and then playing for my local clubs, Young Pirates, when I was under 10s and 11s. And then I moved on to the Cape District Union, where I joined a club called Crusaders. And I had probably one of the best managers ever that used to be a former gangster, but he took kids because he didn't want kids to go into that route. So he started his own little football team, and then he made us play in the gangster leagues, in the tournaments, and I guess, so from there I just slowly started making up my name. And then when I had the opportunity, then I joined a team called Seven Stars. And then from Seven Stars onwards, I went to represent South Africa at the under 20 national team levels, and we lost in the African Nations Cup under 20 finals, but I was voted best player of the tournament and top goal scorer. And I think all the European clubs then came calling, because those are the tournaments that these big teams go and find unrecognizable talents, and I guess I was one of that. And then my journey then took me to Amsterdam, Holland, where I joined Ajax Amsterdam, and the rest is history.
History, like you say, and I do remember, mid-90s or so, and we saw you briefly, like you say, Seven Stars, where you started to make a name for yourself here in South Africa. Then Cape Town Spurs before you left. Briefly, we saw you for a short space of time. You're still a teenager. What's the difference between your generation back then in the type of players that we're exporting abroad to the generation now that doesn't quite go abroad as often as your guys did? What's the difference?
I think the biggest difference, Sizwe, has to be the social media platforms now, because I think football players are brands now. They have their own brands, they have their own company. So for them, it's about the image that matters, and so what gives you the platform almost take a backseat to having to have a good Instagram profile, having to have a good Twitter profile and all that, but you forget what gives you that platform, which is the main attraction, and that's the football. And when we started coming up, there was no such thing as Twitter and Instagram and that. So we just had to put our heads down, and if you want to make it on the training pitch and in matches, that's where you put the hard graft in, and that's where you knuckle down, and then you see if you've got what it takes to make it, and that's the biggest difference now. And I think football players just have to realize, the most important thing in life is not your image. It's not people remembers you for what you did when you were at your job, and that was being a footballer. So you have to try and be the best footballer that you can possibly be, and everything else will come naturally by itself, instead of making sure that you look smooth and it's all straightened and it's all white, and like the image, putting the image up there, but then your job, which is being a football player, is the one that suffers the most. And that was the difference between the two generations.
Now, the beauty of life is you come back after your playing days now and you start to coach, make a bit of history with AmaZulu, and carry on to go work out with Manchester United as well. Talk to us about life after Benny the player, Benny the coach, and how that experience has been.
The transition has been a little bit difficult because now you kind of have to almost like you have to start to learn to ride a bike all over again. You know the game inside out, but being a coach, you learn different things. You learn now how to manage individual players, how to deal with players, and you can't just be a stubborn, hot-headed when you are an individual as a player. So you gotta have different means and ways to go about it. So I had to do that. So I had to sacrifice 5 years of my life to go through the coaching process. When I got the opportunity to coach at Cape Town City, which was amazing, but it was still a very big eye-opener because it was my first job as a coach, you know, and I think I did fairly well as a novice coach. But then when I got to join AmaZulu, I wasn't a rookie anymore. I was someone that, okay, now I know, at least I don't want to make the same mistakes I did at Cape Town City, what I didn't know there. I've learned a little bit, so I've taken it to AmaZulu. And yes, and I've taken it to new heights. And that was incredible to achieve what I've achieved at a team that's not known to be in the top 10, let alone finish second in the league, you know? And then qualifying for CAF Champions League was incredible experience. So yeah, I'll take those experiences with me for a long time, but then that kind of set me up really good for when the chance came to go and coach at Man United. So it was just how to see how different things were, like, you know, like at AmaZulu, I fought to get in an analyst, you know?
Yeah.
So eventually the president gave in and I got the analyst. So you didn't have to do all the analysis and everything by yourself. So you had a little bit of help with an analyst, which was fantastic. And then I walked into Man United, the office. I was like, wow, unbelievable office. I says, no. We on that, we on there, we not here. I was like, what do you mean? No, these are the analysts. And I was like, what? So the analyst had an office that probably most team managers won't have in South Africa. And there was like 12 dudes sitting in with the latest technologies, computers, drones, and everything. And I was like, oh, this is the analyst guys. And they, yep. So then went into the office. The coach's office was incredible. The manager's office was just next level stuff. So I was like, oh, wow. So this is what coaching is. This is when you were a manager, a head coach in Europe, this is what the life is like. I was like, now I'm inspired to really want to become a coach because I can get used to this.
Thank you for your time here on GameON. Also, you've been a great example as a football player, as a young football player, as a professional, as an international, also as a coach. So thank you as well for your contribution to the South African game, to the international game, and continue being Benny McCarthy. We love your accent. We love the fact that it's still South African. And see you soon. Thanks so much for your time, mate. Enjoyable chat indeed with the legend. That is Benny McCarthy, who continues, of course, to set the bar high in as far as the South African footballing fraternity. Thank you so much to Benny. Thanks to Shane as well as Jerry as well. Not forgetting you at home for taking the time to join us here on GameON. From me, Susan Mampena, and the rest of the team that is behind the scenes. Click, click, bang.